Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV. I'm AJAWI, and for today I'll be answering a few questions that some of my followers have left for me, in particular on my YouTube channel, right? So without any further ado, let's get into that. Alright guys, so a couple of you guys left questions for me on my YouTube channel, and I just wanted to answer these questions, right? So one particular person asked me if I could do a video on the cost of construction, right? They wanted to know what's the cost of construction within Jamaica, or how they can go about building. Alright, so to answer that, to estimate the cost of construction, or first of all, let me say, to get the cost of construction is very easy, right? You need a quantity surveyor. A quantity surveyor will break down the cost of construction, and so for material and labor. I always recommend that people consult with a quantity surveyor to determine what the cost of construction is. Now let's say you do not have a quantity surveyor at the moment and you want to know how much will it cost to build, right? Or if you're in the design stage and you want to kind of guide yourself from the get-go as to how much money you're intending on spending as it relates to construction material and labor again, right? What I would do is multiply the square area of your structure or your building by $7,000 per square feet, right? That will give you an idea of what the cost of construction will be. So that can guide you. So say you had the intentions of building a 2,000 square feet building, right? If you had the intentions of building a 2,000 square feet, so 2,000 multiplied by 7,000, that's $14 million, right? So right then and there, your designer or technologist or architect can then say to you, hey, if your budget was 10, if you had in mind that, hey, I'm looking to build for about $10 million, right? Your architect can then look at you and say, hey, the design that you want will cost you about $14 million. Are you able to get an additional $4 million? Are you willing to reduce the size of the building, or are you willing to, substitute materials? Because one of the things that affect your construction cost is the type of finishes, right? So high-end finishes will send up the cost of construction, whereas low-end finishes will bring down the cost of construction. But you have to keep in mind that low-end finishes might, it's low-end, so you're not expecting to get the well-designed or the durable type of stuff, right? Because it's not high-end finishes, and high-end finishes has to do with the overall look of the structure once it is finished. So instead of porcelain tiles, you might have to settle for ceramic tiles, right? So those are things that you have to be thinking about. Instead of contracting a big company to do the construction, you might have to contract just a quantity surveyor or a site manager or site supervisor to really guide your construction process along. Now, here's another thing that sends up the cost of construction that a lot of people do not know. What sends up the cost of your construction sometimes is the fact that you don't have a plan. So, a building that could have cost you $14 million to build, right, ends up costing you $20 million because you don't have a building plan in place. The building plan is really there to help you understand that, hey, I have already planned, this is what I want, I don't need anything other than this, right, and it meets my needs and wants, and this is what I'm going to build. What happens most of the time is that you start building, you don't have your building plan, you knock up a room, right? You set up a room and you realize that I don't like the room at this position, I like it over that side. Then you have to knock down that room or retrofit that room to then put it where you want it to be. You have to now be working out the flow of the building while you're doing construction. That not only sends up the construction cost, but it sends up the supervision cost. It sends up the manpower that you would need. So say you needed 3 laborers for 2 days. You're now looking at 3 laborers for 10 days because you're now knocking down walls, you're changing things while construction is going on. So it's best you look at it from a perspective of, hey, this is what I want, this is my budget, and this is what I'm going to build, right? And you just design and get it done. Another thing that sends up construction costs is not necessarily knowing, or let's not say that, it's more of wanting too much, right? So one of the things that I find for most people in Jamaica is that they want the big house. They want the big house, the 6-bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, dining, all in different locations. They want sitting room, TV room, all of that, right? But their budget does not fit with, their expectations. This causes a problem because you're now in a position where your expectations is this high and your budget is this, and they can't meet. And because you're now trying to meet it, you're wasting money on things that you don't need, right? So try to keep your expectations in line with your budget, right? And don't think that because a building is bigger means that it is better. It's best if you have a well-designed small 2-bedroom house than a 8-bedroom house that is not well designed, does not really meet your expectations or even lifestyle, doesn't match up with your lifestyle, right? So try to understand that. Don't go about trying to please the Joneses. What you want is something for you and your budget and where you are in life now, and you might be planning for the future. So if you're starting out and you have $14 million, you get a little an architect, architectural technologist, and you sit down and you design what you want, and then so you design what you want, and from there you can then have a comfortable home. Sometimes you go into these small 2-bedroom houses, and because they're well designed and they have very good landscaping, it feels and looks way better than some of those 12-bedroom houses that has no landscaping, is not well designed, and this is not really meeting the needs of the person who occupies the space. Try to think about it as simple as possible. You don't need all of the the arches and the bay windows and all of that. It's not necessarily a need. What you're looking for is how am I feeling within this space? How does this space meet my need? And trust me, sometimes having a well landscaped home, a well designed home will save you a lot, and it will make you feel more proud at the end of the day, right? So keep that in mind. What else is there in relation to cost of construction? You're having the right project manager. I know that you might think that you can manage your project by yourself and it will be cheaper, but sometimes it's best if you sit with your construction manager. Even if it's a small building, you can get a technologist to actually undertake your project and sit with them and say, okay, this is the budget, this is what I'm paying, or this is what the budget is, and this is how much you will make. And you sit and basically discuss it with them, negotiate with them, and try and get more than one quote on whatever it is that you're doing, right? So if you come to me and say, hey Andre, I want you to do the construction of my 2-bedroom house, right? What I would suggest is that you have more than one quotation to do it. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will go with the cheapest quotation, but because sometimes that runs you into problems. What it means is that you will now be able to look at, okay, what are the deliverables, what I'll be getting, and where my budget is. Is it realistic? Do I need to reduce the size of something, change something, or do I need to, probably speak with the bank, right? So think along that line. Once you have your construction manager, it will help you to streamline things a little bit better, and it will cost you less. If you're trying to do construction on your own, there are a lot of things that needs to be done that you might not know because you're not within the construction industry, and what you don't know can actually hurt you, can actually hurt your pocket a lot. So think along that line. All right. What else? Another thing is a building approval. Once you have your building approval, that will save you money, because the worst thing that can happen is that you construct your home and then the parish goes to say, hey, you don't have a building approval, this is not approved, and you have actually breached, so therefore you have to knock it down, and then you have to now rebuild again. So try and get a building approval through your architectural technologist or architect, right? So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for sharing. I hope I answered your questions, or this particular question. There are other questions I'll answer as I go along, so look out for the next video. Thanks.